but we are initiated. Aren't we, Bruce?
It's your buddy John back with the Week 14 progress update. It was a pretty good week this week. I'm not going to lie. Shout out to my boy Warren. He watched the video last week, and, I guess he took that vitamin G and the team of Olajuwons very seriously. So he made a nice little, or he had AI make a nice little picture of me. Taking that message to heart, so I'm gonna share it with you. Shout out Warren. This picture's fire, dog. I don't know if that's me or not, but I guess it's close enough. Point taken. So food this week. It was a rough week in terms of eating. Last Sunday, I made gumbo for some friends. Had some people over, some of my neighbors, friends, whatever, and I made a huge pot of gumbo, chicken and sausage, and it was delicious. The only problem with making it is there was so much that I had to eat it. Well, I didn't have to eat it, but I chose to eat it Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And so, if you've ever seen how you make gumbo, I mean, andouille sausage, chicken thighs, sorry, celery, or not cucumbers, onions, green peppers, garlic, and some seasoning. And it's delicious. I don't know if it's the healthiest. Usually eat it with a ton of crackers. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I was eating it with a lot of rice, and that probably put me behind the eight ball to start the week. But we made it happen. So 6 cups of jasmine rice. I ate a lot of rice this week to go with my gumbo. A ton of gumbo. I can't even quantify it. It was a lot. Trust me. A whole bag of oyster crackers, which were one of my favorite things to eat as a kid. They are delicious in gumbo. 3 pounds of ground turkey, 3 cups of spinach, 3 cups of green peppers, 3 cups of cucumbers. So it was a nice week, I guess, eating wise. I don't know that gumbo is the healthiest thing for me to eat, especially in the amounts I ate it, but that's how it looked this week. As we were coming towards Sunday, I wasn't quite sure how it was going to look when I got on the scale, but we'll share that with you later. Walking 48.03 miles. So this is pretty close to one of my highest totals. Getting close to that 50 miles mark. I made sure to put an extra emphasis on getting my miles in this week because I knew I was, eating as much gumbo as I did. Not bad. Plenty of energy to do it. And just, I don't want to shoot a video and come in here and show you that I put weight on. I would if that's what happened. I promise you. If I had a crappy week where I put weight on or didn't move at all, I'd share it with you because it's part of the journey. But that isn't what happened this week. Sleep, still my biggest problem, even considering what I ate this week. Sleep 5 hours a week or 5 hours a night. One of these weeks we're going to get to average 7 hours a night. That would be the dream. And I would love to see what the weight loss looks like on a week where I get great sleep every night. Maybe that'll be this week. That's the goal. That's what we'll work towards. Weight training this week. We made it happen. We got our 3 days in. Felt good. I'll be honest with you. The hardest thing about weight training is I've never been much of a weight trainer. Even though I understand it and I know a lot of the exercises and I have apps that I can use to make sure I know what I'm doing. It's just one of those things where when you haven't really done it, like before when I was a lot smaller, I ran. That was how I kept weight. That's how I kept my weight down, and that's how I stayed healthy, physically active. I would run 8 to 10 miles every night, and that was for fun. But now I'm not in that position to run that just yet. I mean, we're on our way, but we're not quite there yet. So weight training is something that, I think sometimes I put it off because I've never really been a gym rat. You kind of want to stay away from what you're not comfortable with. But we made it 3 days this week. It was nice, feel pretty good. I actually, on days that I walked after I weight trained during the day, I actually felt better during my walk. I mean, I guess that should be more motivation to make sure I get in there and make sure I'm doing what I need to do to try to stave off muscle loss, as I know we've already had some. This week, back with the new weigh-in. Weighed in this morning, got on the scale after a nice week, and we ended up at the new weight of 241.5. A loss of 3.8 pounds for the week, and a new total loss of 66.2 pounds thus far on the journey. So I was actually very happy with that. The last few weeks it was over 4 and over 5. We were close to 4 this week. I don't feel terrible about it because of just how much gumbo I ate. But, 3.8, they say 2 is on the high side of sustainable weight loss. That's not, that they wouldn't say is worrisome. To be at 3.8, I'm very happy with it. And this week, I don't have any gumbo in the pot now. We'll just be back on our regular scheduled grind, regular scheduled eating, and everything else. There you have it. And like I said, last Sunday, made some gumbo. I had a bunch of my friends over, which is always a good time. My daughter got to hang out. That's always enjoyable to see my daughter have fun with her friends. It's always enjoyable for me to be able to hang out with my friends. This week, my daughter had a sleepover and she had a couple friends over, and it was really cool because that ended up turning into a get together. More of my friends came and hung out. My buddy Chris, he's back in town. He's been working out of state. So shout out to Chris. Glad you're back. Glad you get to spend the time with your family. Look forward to having you back around here, man. Really appreciate you. That was nice. We had pizza and stuff. I stayed away. I didn't eat any pizza, and it was hard. I was watching people pour hot sauce on pizza. Some of my favorite things to eat, pizza with hot sauce. But, we stayed strong, we stayed disciplined, and we stayed out of it. This week, we also had a work event at Baylor Scott and White, and it was like a potluck, and, stayed away from that too. Only drank water while I was there, stayed disciplined. Sometimes it's tough, especially when you see some of the good things that are sitting on the table, but it was necessary, so we stayed away from it. So, hey, yay me. Let's go. Album of the week, I See Stars, Digital Renegade. That's actually an album I listen to a lot. I've been listening to it a lot over the last few years. I don't even remember when it came out. I think it's like 2015. Maybe it was earlier than that. But, I just found it within the last 3 or 4 years and I really enjoy it. So I listened to it a lot this week. Super enjoyable. Filth Friends Unite, Digital Renegade, Nars Attacks, Endless Sky. It's only like 10 or 11 songs. I think actually it came out in 2012, but I recently discovered it in the last 4 or 5 years, I'd say. It's super banging album. Check it out. Song of the week is actually on there as well, and that is I See Stars, Electric Forest featuring Cassadee Pope. I think she's a country singer now, or I don't know what she does. Who cares? It ain't about her. It's about the song being a banger. It's actually one of my favorite songs I've heard in the last 5 years as well. Definitely on most playlists I have, most rotations I listen to. So check them out. The top 10 songs of the week will be in the description. Check them out if you want to. If you don't, it's up to you. I know last week's was over 30 minutes. We're not going to be anywhere near that this week. Like I said, I just wanted to make sure I gave everybody their flowers that showed support, man. Like I said, none of this is possible without any of you guys. So I really appreciate you. If you're watching this channel again, hey, welcome back. Love to have you with us. If you're new to the channel, thanks for checking it out. Consider checking out the other videos. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. And we'll check you in the week 15 progress update. It's your buddy John. Out.
God, your hands are green. Because they got hit by lightning.